Good morning. Welcome back, everybody. I've got some great news today. I was able to find some of these wheels that I've been looking for a long time. They're actually what I originally wanted. So these are vintage Wheelworks V45 16 by 8 wheels. I had those on my old 65 Fastback. I'll stick a picture in here if I can find one. And yeah, I got on the internet the other night and really searched the entire country for vintage Wheelworks V45. And I was able to find a set down in Oklahoma, which is about 12 hours from where I am. So talked to the guy, worked out a deal, and then started looking for somebody that could help me go pick them up. And just so happened that I had some friends coming through Oklahoma City. Actually Tulsa is where these were. And they were able to pick them up for me. And yeah, so I'm super excited to fit them on. If they are what the guy says they are, they should bolt right on. He had them on a 67 Fastback. So I think they should have the right back spacing. The tires that came on them are a little bit narrower than I was hoping for. They're 215, 60, 16s. I was hoping for 225, but I'm not going to argue at this point. They do need cleaned up. Obviously, they do have some miles on them, but they're what I wanted. And all right, I'm going to bolt them on here. Super excited to get this thing on the ground. It's been up in the air since, I think, last June. It's now December. So it's time to put this thing on the ground and then go after lowering it as far as I can. All right, I'll rinse and repeat here 4 times, and that already looks awesome. Let me just grab another one, move you guys to the back over here, and throw this one on. Should have cleaned these studs up now that I think about it. This is that old 57 rear axle. Look at that. Looks good. Other side. Got them all bolted on. Doesn't look like there's any fitment. I haven't crawled underneath there yet, but fronts must not be hitting that upper ball joint. I'll get in there and look at some point. But right now I'm excited to drop it on the ground. So I'm gonna just go ahead and jack it up here and yank the jack stands, and hopefully it settles down, looks tough and mean. If not, we gotta cut some more coils out. Lower this thing till it looks too low. Good so far. how's it look? I think it looks pretty good. Let's just go after some comparison measurements before. So I had 26 inches marked right there. Let you know it's actually 26 and a quarter still. But the tire's tucked pretty good. This other side say also 26 and a quarter. I backed the Maverick out so I could get a little better side look at it. It doesn't look too bad. Actually, it looks pretty good. But I really do think I want to go just a touch lower with it. Probably another, I don't know, maybe ½ inch to 1 inch in the rear. And the front, about a ½ inch. Maybe I should just leave it like it is and drive it a little bit, but I got all winter here to think about it before I really get out there. So I'll probably go ahead and, I don't know, lower it down a little bit. Pull that front end back apart. Chop another ½ a spring or ½ a coil off. And stick another ½ inch lowering block in the rear. I don't know. Right now I'm just gonna sit here and look at it, see what I think. Well, I got past the excitement of sitting and looking at this thing for a few days, and I decided I'm not gonna mess with the suspension. I'm gonna let it sit as it is until I get a chance to drive it a bit next spring. But in the meantime here, I think my next step is to try to clean up these wheels a little bit. I bought some, not the most aggressive wheel cleaner I could find. There's some more crazy things out there for really cleaning bare aluminum wheels, but thought I'd try this first, try to get some of that brake dust off there, and then set it down on the ground, and we'll probably work on the front end alignment. Everything in the front, alignment-wise, is just loose. So that's next, but for now, pull all 4 wheels, clean them up, and put them back on. I got the wheels cleaned up as well as I can for now. I did decide to crawl in here and take a peek at that upper ball joint to rim clearance, and it is really tight, but it's not hitting. Also checked the wheel weight, and it's even tighter, but I think it's good to go. Yeah, I'm kind of just wasting some time here over Christmas. Like, one thing I'm going to do is look at those steering stops, turn that from side to side, trim those back if I need to, or see how much wheel clearance I've got, do an alignment, and I don't know, just keep tinkering until springtime, I guess. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, Sadie. Hi. Back at it here again on a Saturday afternoon in January. Got the car on the ground. I cleaned up the garage the other day and actually backed the thing out. The brakes, I think, still need bled a bit more, but looking for some things to do today, so I dug around up in the attic, found a box of parts from my old Mustang. I might try to clean up this heater box and get that in there because there's not one in this car. But I think what I'm going to do is work a little bit on roughing and alignment. I'll probably have to take it down to a shop and get it aligned. The other day I set the toe roughly, got it close, but it looks like the camber, just using an angle finder, I don't know where I put mine, right here, but just put an angle finder on those plates on the wheels. It's cambered out about almost 1 degree. So I'm gonna jack it up, probably pull 1 shim off of each stud and set it back down and see what that does. Never really messed with alignment on these things, so that's what we're doing next, I guess.
Well, I guess I have to go more. Doesn't look like I changed anything. No, this isn't the most accurate method, but it should be able to get it to move a degree or two. Alright, so here's what I just did. Each upper control arm's got a bunch of these shims behind it, and I ended up pulling out 2 shims out of each side. There's one in the front, one in the rear on each side. So I pulled 2 out of each to keep it even. Looks like the camber right now is about 0. It should be probably closer to -1, but I think I'm gonna stop here because really I'm just eyeball guessing anyway. I don't have a great way to measure it. The next thing I need to do here is the Granada spindles, the steering stops need to be cut back. So I'll grab the camera here, stick you in there and see if you can see where I'm gonna cut off. So right here, where are we at? Right there, that's the steering stop from the Granada. Right now I got the wheel cranked all the way to the left. I'm on the right side of the car. So that arm right there needs to be cut back a little bit. Looks like I do have plenty of clearance up here to the front. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut quite a bit of that off. I saw on the internet about a 1/2 inch. I think I'll start with maybe 3/8 of an inch and see what it looks like. There you can better see the steering stop I'm cutting off there. Over on the left side there, I got a little Sharpie mark 3/8 in. So grab the cutoff wheel and knock that off. Time for the next mini project. I got the toe set, tightened up the adjuster sleeves there. So if I had to, I think I could drive it, but that's a ways off. So the next thing is I'm gonna replace this plastic oil pressure line that runs up in there that's just about broke off up there where it goes through the firewall, and it's leaking down here by the oil filter. So I bought a copper kit. Open that up and try to run that line a little bit, and then probably the next thing is, when I had this running the other day, it's got pretty bad exhaust leak, I think, between the manifolds and the pipes. So that's probably not fun to fix, and it's going to snowball, but maybe that'll be the next thing. All right, moving on here a little bit. I just fired it up after replacing that oil line. Yeah, I don't know how well it shows up on this video here, but there's a good leak down there in the exhaust manifold. I can tell it, hear it, smell it, feel it. So put a little penetrating fluid on those nuts down there. Well, here we are. When I came out to the garage this afternoon, I didn't expect that this is where I'd be, but getting something done here. So I ended up pulling the starter off, make it easier to get to that lower exhaust stud. You can see that exhaust donut up in there is, I think that's what that is. It's completely trashed. I had to chip that out. But probably the more interesting thing, flip around here so I'm looking the right direction. By pulling the starter, where are we at? There we go. By pulling the starter, I'm able to see the block number. And C8OE dash, is that an 8 or 6? Either 8015 or 6015A. So I have to look that up, but I believe that means it's a 68, which pretty much, I think by 68, everything were 302s instead of 289. So that might answer one of the questions I've had about this engine. Is it a 289 or 302? So I'll go punch that into the internet and see what I find out. Morning. Ran down to O'Reilly's this morning and picked up some new exhaust donuts. It'll be way better than that thing. I did do some internet research last night. It does look like that engine is, I'd say a 68 302, which is totally fine with me. So let's throw these gaskets in there and then we'll fire it back up and see what it sounds like. Well, things have continued to go sideways here this morning. Went to put the starter back in. Bottom bolt was stripped out. A couple of trips to the hardware store to find an helicoil kit. Then I couldn't get the drill in, so I had to pull the suspension down so I could get access to drill that hole. So hopefully we're going together here. I got a helicoil, got the right bolt. So finish tapping this hole and run the helicoil in, get the starter in, then start it up, I guess, is the order this morning. Well, it sounds a little better, but the passenger side still sounds like it's got a leak. I have to get back under there and look at that again. Still got a leak over here on the passenger side. I think the problem is that stud, the nut's messed up, and I can't get it to go down any further, so I'm going to have to pull that stud out, put a new one in.
There we go, that's better. Had to go get a new stud, new nut. Little anti-seize on there, and now you can actually hear the exhaust out of the back of the car. Doesn't sound too bad, actually. Well, I think that's going to do it for today. Not sure what's up next, but at least the exhaust doesn't leak anymore. Guess I'm not quite done. So as I was shutting that off there, I gave the throttle a couple blips under the hood here from the carburetor, and it looked like the crank pulley was moving. And sure enough, that thing is loose. Well, I guess I got the next thing figured out to work out. Quick investigation here. That bolt is tight. Actually roll the whole motor backwards, but if I stick my finger in there, I can actually feel the washer is free, so that bolt bottomed out. Yeah, so I need to, yeah, this is completely loose. Need to get in there and get that bolt out. Probably have to try to hold the motor, hold the engine somehow. There we go, that looks better. And I think I could actually hear a clunk. There was a clunk that I could hear before. Sure it was that pulley bouncing back and forth. The keyway is beat up a little bit in the pulley, but I tightened it down by sticking a couple washers behind it. And that'll be good for now. All right, it's time to get out here and tinker around a little bit more. Today I'm going to work under the hood a little bit. I ordered a new battery tray. One of theirs rusted out, doesn't have any hold downs. So I got a hold down kit. And then I also made up this little ground strap. The one that was back there behind they had it running from the firewall, actually under the head of one of the valve cover bolts, and it was just a frayed piece of wire. So I'm gonna put that on there, that should fit. And then I don't know if I'll do it today, but I also ordered a new underhood harness to replace this one, which is basically all just cut up. I don't think I have all the sensors I need. I don't have a temperature sensor, don't have a pressure sending unit, so might not do that, but I'm gonna look at that a little bit. And what else? Oh, if I get that stuff done, I'm gonna look at the battery, or not the battery, but the heater box. There is the back half of the heater box in the car. I got it the other day and looked, but the cover's missing, the heater core's missing, so maybe I'll look at that, see what else needs to happen and get that put back together. So yeah, that's today's goals. Tinker around a little bit. So here's what we got going on with this old battery tray. It's not bolted in, it's rusted out. I guess there are a couple bolts. I don't know if you can see them on there, but there's a couple bolts that are loose or broken or something. So I'm gonna figure out how to get those off, probably cut them off, and then hopefully this thing fits. It's supposed to be a little bit upgraded style. It's got a better clamping method, so we'll see. Well, here's what we got underneath the old battery tray. It's not as bad as it could be. It has been patched in there. There's some kind of crappy work, but I guess it's good enough for now. I'm gonna take the wire wheel, maybe dust off some of that loose stuff and rust, vacuum it up, and shoot some spray paint onto that corner. I don't know if it'll do any good, but I guess it'll make me feel better. So yeah, I guess spray paint and cleaning is next. Morning, everybody. Back out here on another Saturday, and got a couple projects lined up for today. I think I've got all the wiring mapped out here and can get that plugged in, other than maybe the electric choke. I don't quite have a way to hook that up yet, but that should be easy to figure out. And then the other thing I have is Marketplace score. This is a new, actually Ford tooling. I don't know if you can see the little Ford logo embossed in there. A dash pad. I know it's the wrong color, but I've got some vinyl dye. We're gonna clean this up, try to spray it, and get that put in there. That was, I think, $100, which seemed like a good deal. So yeah, a couple little things to work on today, and then I don't know what. It's gonna get real cold outside, so maybe I'll be in here tomorrow too. Battery is back in and installed. Got a good solid base on there. Good, I don't know, I guess it's a later style clamp. I had to go through ahead and lay that harness in. Everything pretty well connects good. I don't have an oil pressure sending unit. I did find that manifold had a temperature sensor in it, so that's all good. Fired the car up, everything works. At some point I'll clean up the routing a little bit more, but for now everything's back together and running. All right, I'm gonna give this a try here. I'm gonna start on the bottom side in case it screws up. And I'm also gonna see if I can hold the camera and spray at the same time. I did a little test squirts on the backside there. I think it's gonna be okay, but here we go. Looks a little drippy, not real smooth. Try to do a couple light coats here. Come back, hit it again. I guess it's not too bad. I did this before on my 79 Mustang. I got a blue dash and made it black, and it, 30 years later, it still looks good. So hopefully we can make this happen. All right, I think I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit. It says to let it tack and then hit it with another coat. So hopefully it's gonna turn out okay. All right, here's the other side. Touch it back over here and let it sit for a little bit. Hopefully we're good. Hopefully I got enough paint. This is, I don't know if I showed this, is what I'm using, duplicolor vinyl dye. I bet I run out just in time to not have enough. Damn it. All right, let this, try to be patient, let it sit. Definitely still needs another coat, but the bottom side covered up good. Back after letting this dry for about an hour. I think it looks pretty good. It's maybe a little shiny. The molding does have a dent in it right there. But for this car, I think this is more than good enough. So now, I just watched a YouTube video on how to install this thing. So probably don't have all the screws and all the parts I need, but I'm gonna get it up in there and get it close. Get a couple, there's a couple studs on this backside here somewhere, right there. Get those started, get it in there, and then figure out what screws I'm missing, and probably have to order a kit of screws. Gonna claim a victory on this one. Pretty much have it in there. The screws on that front trim were just a pain to get lined up. Screwed around, eventually got it to tighten up, got the grill grate tightened down. What I don't have is I've got the trim piece that goes across there, but I don't have the little corner piece, so I'm gonna have to order that. But otherwise, yeah, it's a big step forward. Nice dash. Makes everything else look shabby, so we'll just keep chipping away at it. Hopefully that black holds up. It's held up well in my other car, but it wasn't white originally. The other one was dark blue, so maybe if there's scratches in it, I just don't see them. Yeah. We'll see what happens next. Well, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Got quite a bit done since the last video. Big thing are new wheels and tires. Got some electrical things cleaned up, new battery hold down, got a dash pad in, did a quick alignment. Let's see, what else? I'm not sure what else. Probably some other things in there too, but yeah, I'm gonna keep taking it along. Really can't do much for driving it till springtime gets around, but a couple months, maybe we'll be able to have it outside. So the big thing is, what do I do next? And I'm looking at going two different directions. I gotta do some more thinking. One is, I've got a T5 and bell housing and some other parts sitting out in the shed that I think is a good T5. I could tear into swapping that in, which that would be cool, exciting. The other thing is the quarter panel on the driver's side back there really does need replaced. Got a big hole cut in the bottom of it. So I could get a whole new quarter, I could patch it. So I guess that's what I'm really thinking about here for the next couple weeks. It's kind of going to depend. I've been hoping I could find a quarter panel on Marketplace and not have to pay a bunch for shipping or something like that. So yeah, really just gotta pick out the next big project and then keep tinkering on the little things. Thanks for watching. Please hit subscribe, and we'll see what happens next.